56% of Gen Z job seekers will take a lower salary to work for a company whose values and environment match theirs. But here's what's interesting. 72% of them have also quit or considered quitting because their job wasn't flexible enough. And 55% negotiate their offers harder than any generation before them. So, what's really going on here? Are they entitled? Are they idealistic? Are they unrealistic about how work actually works? Or maybe they're the first generation to actually understand something the rest of us missed. After looking at the data, I think I know the answer, and it has nothing to do with entitlement. It's strategy. People think Gen Z is just being difficult, but when I analyzed workplace data from the last 40 years, I discovered something that completely flipped my understanding of what's happening. Gen Z is not rejecting work culture. They're rejecting a broken feedback system that stopped working decades ago. Let me clarify what I mean. When boomers entered the workforce in the 1960s and 70s, recognition wasn't something HR had to manage. It was just built into how you worked. You got hired at IBM in 1975. Your first day, HR explains the whole deal. If you stay loyal, you work hard, in 30 years, you'll retire with full benefits and a pension worth more than your house. Every year you stayed made that pension more valuable. At 5 years, you get a service pin. At 10 years, a gold watch ceremony where executives shake your hand in front of everyone. At 25 years, the whole company celebrated your loyalty. Recognition was baked into the economy. The system was saying, we see you, we value your time here, and we are investing in your future. And honestly, it worked. Median job tenure in 1983 was nearly a decade. Boomers have become one of the wealthiest generations in history. They control over 50% of US wealth today, despite being only 20% of the population. The system wasn't wrong, it fit the era. The problem is it stopped matching the economic reality, and companies never replaced the recognition layer that held it together. In 1980, the average home cost $290,000 in today's dollars. Today, we are approaching $500,000. That's a 45% increase, even after adjusting for inflation. From 1979 to 2021, worker productivity increased by 70%, but wages have only increased 20%. Pensions have disappeared, healthcare costs have been shifted to employees. The average Gen Z student graduates with $20,000 in student debt. Many are in six figures. The old promise of stay loyal and you'll be seen and you'll be secure has stopped being true. Then, hybrid and remote work erased the last traces of organic recognition. Think about it. The old recognition system required physical presence. Your boss saw you at your desk early, said, "Good job," in the hallway, and noticed when you stayed late on a project. But now, there's no more hallway validation. No, "I saw you in early" acknowledgement. That casual ambient recognition, the feedback loop that made people feel noticed, evaporated. And with it, so did the culture of visibility. Most companies never rebuilt that structure. They kept running the same playbook, assuming people still felt seen just because they were present. Now, I want to be 100% clear here. Gen Z did not break the system. They inherited a system that was already broken. This generation came of age watching their parents stay loyal to companies for 20 plus years, then get laid off in 2008 or during COVID. They saw benefits reduced and promotions stalled despite decades of loyalty. They didn't live through the collapse, but they certainly absorbed the aftermath. So they learned something older generations didn't have to. If recognition and fairness aren't built into the system, you have to ask for them directly. This generation also grew up fluent in feedback. They post something on Instagram, they immediately get likes and comments. They share an achievement on LinkedIn. Immediate response from their network. Do something noteworthy, real-time acknowledgement, or silence, and those both mean something. This isn't vanity, it's literacy in feedback loops. They understand that meaningful work requires visible acknowledgement. And unlike previous generations, they have access to information their parents never had. Glassdoor will show them exactly what they should be earning. Social media shows them when other companies recognize employees better. They're not demanding trophies. They're demanding transparency. They want to know their effort still converts into belonging. So this begs the question, what do companies need to rebuild? The challenge for companies isn't to figure out Gen Z. It's to rebuild the recognition infrastructure that was baked into older generations' workplace. After working with hundreds of companies that successfully engage Gen Z, I've identified 3 shifts that make all the difference. The first, you need to move from annual to real time. Recognition cannot be an annual ritual. It has to move at the speed of work. If Sarah completes a major project on Tuesday, her manager acknowledges it on Tuesday, not in the next month's staff meeting. The recognition needs to happen in Slack, where the whole team can see it. Sarah will know immediately that her work mattered. Companies doing this right integrate their recognition platforms with tools their teams already use. They create Slack channels for peer-to-peer kudos. They give managers dashboards showing these team members haven't been recognized in 30 days and suggestions on what to do about it. Recognition delayed is recognition denied. The second shift, it needs to move from standardized to personalized. Fair does not mean equal. Not everyone wants to be recognized the same way. Some people love public shoutouts. Others prefer private feedback. Some want career development opportunities, while others want flexible time off. The companies who get this right will ask during onboarding a simple question. How do you want to be appreciated? And they will then create recognition profiles for each employee. Instead of giving everyone the same gold watch, you give everyone what actually makes them feel seen. Equity means giving each person what they need. The final shift is from hierarchical to multi-directional. Recognition can't only travel down. It has to move across and up. In the old system, recognition flowed downward from managers to employees. Gen Z expects that recognition to flow in all directions. They want to recognize their managers for great leadership. They want to acknowledge their peers who help them succeed. They want recognition based on impact, not hierarchy. The companies doing this well create platforms where anyone can recognize anyone. Sales can acknowledge product for a great feature launch. Engineering can recognize marketing for clear requirements. Employees can recognize managers for removing roadblocks. That is how you build belonging that scales. So, what Gen Z is doing is not rebelling. They're helping us all recalibrate. They're rebuilding the emotional infrastructure of work that disappeared a generation ago. The companies that understand this, that build real-time, personalized, multi-directional recognition into their culture, these are the companies Gen Z wants to work for. And honestly, those are probably the companies you'd want to work for too. Recognition used to be on autopilot, but now it's required that it be intentional. The question isn't whether Gen Z is right or wrong about work culture. The question is, how ready are you to build a recognition system that actually works in 2025? Because the companies that figure this out first are going to have a massive advantage in attracting and keeping the best talent.